There is no ceremony left. The prayers have been said, the ochre markings have been painted on her skin, and the clan has withdrawn to the cliff top, their forms now just silent silhouettes against a bruised twilight sky. Kaya stands alone at the mouth of the canyon. She is a child. The sun will set in the time it takes to walk 100 paces, when it rises again. If she is still alive to see it, she will be a woman. This is the law. This is the rite of passage. She has no spear, no flint knife, not even a sharpened stick. Her only tools are the memories of her elders' lessons. The map of this stone labyrinth carved into her mind, and the frantic, hammering beat of her own heart. She takes the first step inside. The canyon walls rise up on either side, sheer and red, swallowing the last of the light. The air grows still and cold. The sound of the wind in the plains above vanishes, replaced by an unnerving silence that is punctuated by the scrape of her own bare feet on the gravel floor. This place has a name. The Maze of the God Bear. It is a holy place, a place of testing where the spirits of the clan are measured. It is also a tomb. She has seen others go in who did not come out. Their bones, the clan believes, are now part of the maze, their spirits guardians for the next generation to be tested. The scent of the place is what she remembers from the stories: dry dust, dark moss growing in the deep shadows, and an underlying powerful musk. It is the smell of the god bear, the colossal, short-faced Arctodus simus that haunts this maze. It is not just an animal, it is the physical embodiment of the trial, a predator of unimaginable size and strength. She sees the first sign of it where to pass diverge, a claw mark, a single, deep gouge in the sandstone wall, higher than she can reach with a leap. It is a casual display of power, an artist's signature written in stone. She follows the left path, the one her uncle told her to take, the one that is narrower, harder to climb, a path that might confound a creature of such immense size. The sun is gone now. The sliver of moon casts the canyon in a treacherous geography of sharp-edged shadows and pools of absolute black. Every gust of wind carries a new sound, a new potential threat. Is that the skittering of a lizard, or the click of a claw on stone? Is that the sigh of the wind through a narrow gap, or the huff of a giant's breath? Fear is a living thing inside her, a cold creature with its own claws, digging into her gut. She forces it down. Fear makes you loud. Fear makes you clumsy. Fear gets you killed. She repeats the lessons like a prayer. And then she hears it. It is not the wind. It is a deep, guttural, sniffing sound from the canyon passage, just ahead of her, around a blind corner. It is followed by the heavy scrape of something massive turning, its weight shifting on the gravel. The musk hits her then, not as a faint scent, but as a thick, overpowering wave of hot and old meat. It is close, too close. Her mind, a frantic swirl of panic, latches onto a single, desperate thought from her uncle's teachings. Climb. If you have ever been truly, hopelessly hunted, then you know the choice she faces is no choice at all. It is the primal scream of instinct against the crushing weight of a god. Press yourself into the stone with her, and pray the rock does not betray you. Her eyes dart up the sheer rock face beside her. It is nearly vertical, but a thin crack runs like a scar from the floor up into the darkness above. There are holes, small and treacherous, but they are there. She does not hesitate. She jams her fingers into the crack and begins to pull herself up, her muscles screaming, her breath held tight in her chest. The sound of the approaching beast is slow, deliberate drumbeat counting down the final seconds of her life. Her fingers, slick with sweat and fear, find purchase in the rough sandstone. She climbs. Below, the god bear rounds the corner. It is a creature of impossible scale, a mountain of muscle and shaggy, dark fur that seems to suck the moonlight from the air. Its head, disproportionately large for its body, swings from side to side, its blunt, small, black eyes scanning the canyon floor. Its powerful sense of smell has led it here, to this exact spot. It knows she is close. Kaya freezes against the rock face, 10 feet above the ground, trying to will herself into the stone, to become another shadow in a world of shadows. The bear stops directly below her. It lifts its massive head, its nostrils flaring as it tastes her scent, a living current in the air. She can see the starlight glinting on the wetness of its nose. She can smell the rot of its last meal on its breath. The bear lets out a low, rumbling growl. a sound that vibrates through the rock and into her bones. It knows she is above it. It lifts a 4 paw, the claws like 5 obsidian daggers, and places it against the canyon wall. For a terrifying moment, she thinks it will try to climb after her, but the beast is too massive, its claws too blunt for this sheer surface. It is a creature of immense terrestrial power, not a climber. This is a small victory, a single correct calculation in a night that will allow no errors. Frustrated, the Arctodus simus drops back to all fours. It does not leave. It begins to patrol the narrow passage below, a 20-foot stretch of gravel, pacing back and forth. It is not giving up, it is waiting. This is the true nature of the test. It is not a chase. It is a siege, a battle of her endurance against its patience. Her muscles burn, her fingers are raw, but she cannot go down. The hours crawl by, each one a separate lifetime of terror. The moon traces its slow arc across the sliver of sky visible above. Gaia's mind drifts, exhaustion a thick, syrupy poison. She thinks of her clan, of the warm fire, of the stories they tell. These stories, the oral tradition of her people, are a vital part of their survival skills. She remembers a tale about a trickster jackal who escapes a lion by leading it into a cave with a low ceiling, where the lion's mighty head, its powerful cranium, becomes a liability. The memory sparks an idea. She cannot stay here forever. Her strength is finite. The bear's patience seems endless. She must move. She looks up. Her precarious perch is about halfway up the canyon wall, 20 feet above her. The canyon rim is visible, a line of black against the star-dusted sky. But she cannot climb straight up. The rock is too smooth. To her left, however, the passage narrows into a tight fissure, a crack in the world barely wider than her shoulders. If she can traverse the wall horizontally, another 15 feet of agonizing hand-over-hand movement, she can reach it. The bear is too large to follow her into such a space. It is a tremendous risk. A single slip and she will fall directly onto the waiting predator. But to stay is to eventually fall from exhaustion. It is a hard choice, the kind that forges the raw material of humanity into something sharper, something more resilient. She takes a deep, ragged breath, finds a new handhold, and begins to move sideways, a spider of flesh and fear crawling across the face of a stone god. Each movement is a lifetime. Her muscles scream in a silent, agonizing chorus. The rough sandstone grates against her skin, leaving trails of blood on her raw fingertips. Below her the bear paces, a restless shadow. Its occasional growls a constant reminder of the price of a single mistake. She inches her way across the rock face, her body pressed flat, her mind a focused point of pure will. She does not look down. She does not look down. She does not think about the fall. She thinks only of the next handhold, the next shift of weight, the next dragged breath. The fissure, her only hope of sanctuary, seems an impossible distance away. After an eternity of crawling, her outstretched hand touches the edge of the crack. A wave of relief, so powerful it almost makes her lose her grip, washes over her. She pulls herself into the narrow space, her body scraping against the tight stone walls. It is a claustrophobic embrace, but it is safety. She slumps down, her back against one wall and her feet against the other, her body trembling with exhaustion and adrenaline. The bear cannot reach her in ear. She listens as it snorts and claws at the entrance to the fissure, its frustrated roars echoing in the tight space. But it cannot enter. She has won the second part of the trial. She has used the monster's greatest strength, its size, as a weapon against it. She dozes in fits and starts, her body wedged into the cold stone, a position that would be torture in any other circumstance, but is now the very definition of comfort. She wakes to a change in the light. A faint, pearlescent grey is beginning to dilute the blackness of the sky. Dawn is coming. Her trial is almost over. She peeks out of the fissure. The bear is gone from the entrance, but she can hear it moving farther down the canyon, its heavy footfalls a slow, rhythmic beat. She knows the final part of her journey is to emerge from the maze, to walk out into the light and be greeted by her clan, but the bear is still between her and the canyon's mouth. She emerges from the fissure, moving with a stiff, painful slowness. She follows the sound of the bear, keeping to the shadows. She finds it in a wider, dead-end gorge, a place where the canyon walls form a natural amphitheater. The bear is digging at the base of the wall, tearing at the loose scree, likely trying to get at some small animal hiding in the rocks. This is her chance. The bear is distracted, but the path to the entrance is a wide, open stretch of gravel. It will see her the moment she breaks cover. She looks at the piles of loose rock and pebbles on the steep slope above the bear, a detail noted and filed away in her memory, a small piece of data for the unwritten archaeology of her own life. An idea born not of courage but of desperate, calculated risk forms in her mind, her uncle's final lesson. The bear fears a sound it does not understand. She will not try to hurt the beast, she will try to confuse it. She begins to climb the steep, rocky slope opposite the bear, her movements agonizingly slow. She reaches a ledge piled high with loose, flat stones. She takes a deep breath, summons the last of her strength, and shoves the largest stalk over the edge. It does not fall toward the bear, but to the side, crashing into the rock wall below. The sound is a deafening crack, a gunshot in the morning stillness. It is immediately followed by a cascade of smaller stones, creating a sharp, clattering roar that echoes and magnifies in the natural amphitheater of the gorge. The bear rears up, startled and confused, its head snapping toward the unexpected, deafening noise. It is not a sound of arrival. It is alien, geological, and deeply unsettling. For a precious few seconds, the beast is disoriented, its senses overwhelmed. That is the opening Koya needs. She scrambles down the slope, her feet flying over the open gravel, and runs. She does not look back. She runs with the fire of the rising sun on her face, the sounds of the enraged and confused bear fading behind her, the mouth of the canyon growing larger, a promise of life, of a future, of a new name she has earned in the long, terrifying night. She emerges from the labyrinth as the first rays of sun strike the canyon rim, a creature reborn. She is no longer Koya the child. She is Koya Bear Walker, Koya Stone Shooter. Her clan is there, waiting. They do not cheer. They watch her approach with a silent, profound respect. They see the blood on her hands, the exhaustion in her bones, the new, unerasable stillness in her eyes. She has faced the god in its holiest of holies and has not been found wanting. This brutal ritual is not about conquering a beast, it is about conquering the self. It is a crucible designed to burn away the child's fear and forge the adult's will. It teaches the most vital lesson of their hominid history, that the greatest predators can be defeated not by matching their strength, but by understanding their nature and exploiting it with a courage that borders on madness. This rite is a testament to the idea that true strength is not the absence of fear, but the ability to think, to plan, and to act in the very heart of it. Koya's ordeal proves that the human mind, even when housed in a body that is hopelessly outmatched, is the most versatile and deadly weapon in this ancient, savage world. Our survival was never guaranteed by the sharpness of our claws, but by the fire in our minds. But what happens when the next child to enter the maze decides not to run, but to fight?